Big Drive Energy Live Major Sunday edition, the last one of 2025. And wouldn't you know it, we got a big old snoozer on our hands because Scottie Scheffler don't give a fuck about anything about golf at all. Just comes in and is boat racing the field. I'm sure we'll get to the glazing of Scottie, but how was let's start with what's your overall feel of the tournament? Was it good? Was it bad? Because I have kind of some thoughts, and I know the weather didn't help in terms of like guys shooting closer to even par or making a lot of bogeys and having some bad scores and winners not being at 17 under. But what are your thoughts on just the entire play of the tournament, the play of the golf course, and all four rounds?
So I love links golf. It is like my favorite type of golf to play, which is ironic because it doesn't necessarily suit my game. But unfortunately, it just relies so much on tough weather in order to make the course hard. Whereas if you have these benign conditions like they've had this week, it's just honestly kind of been, I hate to say it, but a little bit lame. And that's without Scottie even running away with it. I mean, I guess that kind of plays a part, but the course is just played pretty easy. I mean, the fairways are wide. The greens are slow. Like, these dudes can kind of do whatever they want. I mean, the course isn't even that firm. Like, it isn't crazy. There's been a couple of collection areas that have gotten a lot of play. But other than that, I mean, it has not felt like that exciting of a major to me. And it is one of my favorite majors, but there's just certain courses where you get even more excited for a major than normal. And this is not one of them for me. So let me hear your thoughts, because I mean.
Well, do you see this note on the broadcast? Just the weird things that happens in sports. So it took Tiger Woods 1,197 days from his first major championship to his fourth major championship. Today is exactly 1,197 days from Scottie's first major to his fourth major.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
So I'll get into the course real quick, but I do want to get back to, obviously we'll get back to Scottie because I've got some thoughts and some things that have been going through my head today on just Scottie in general as a golfer, as a person, why people feel the way they do about him. But the golf course for me, like you said, kind of lame. I mean, the pot bunkers, yeah, it's got the link style, but it's just, I don't know. And maybe if the wind was blowing, it could have changed the way that the golf course played, the wind blowing more, rain, all that, the normal elements that you get in Ireland. But like even watching today and Haotong Lee's first shot into one, when he's like landing it 4 feet left and a little past the hole and spinning it back towards it, you're kind of just like, that's not an Open Championship. Yeah. And it's funny because, they go back to the old Open Championships, and granted, it was probably more exciting for us at the time because we are big Cam Smith fans. But do you remember he won that major at like 19 or 20 under? And there was a myriad of guys at 15, 14, 30, so it might change a little bit based on who you're actually rooting for and how you watch
also
majors.
That's at the old course, which is just as classic as it gets. It's probably one of the easiest Open Championship venues that they have, but that course has the juice no matter what because it's St. Andrews. That felt a little different. But yeah, and I agree. It just, there's something about this. Some of these golf courses are like, just don't have the same, like Muirfield has got it. And maybe, I don't know if I'm biased, but I almost prefer it in England or Scotland over Ireland. Like some of these Irish courses, like maybe Royal County Down would be up there for sure. But other than that, like this place doesn't do much for me. There's no super iconic, like fucking Scottie Scheffler. I don't know if he ended up birdieing 16 or not, but he played the quote unquote hardest hole in 3 under through the first 3 rounds. Like, it's a par 3 that I guess is supposed to be their signature hole. And it just did not end up providing much in that way. So yeah, the course left a lot to be desired for me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let's get into Scottie Scheffler a little bit. We'll talk about who had a good week, who had a bad week outside of Scottie. But I do want to talk about him a little bit because we did a pod probably 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, when Scottie started going on this run, and talked about, we compared him to Nikola Jokic because obviously we're giant Nuggets fans. They're both pretty unassuming superstars. Jordan Spieth backed that up with a quote today, exact quote coming shortly here. I've got it right in my handy dandy phone, my handy dandy cellular.
Nice, good. I just texted it to you like
Nikola Jokic is the only guy I can think of that's a superstar that's equally unassuming in any sport in the modern era. And I'm happy if anybody else can find another example, but it's very rare. And we're kind of jaded because we are such big Nikola Jokic fans, not necessarily such big Scottie Scheffler fans. But I think the one thing that I've been thinking about more is, I was talking to RK this morning about it when we were watching the Open, and Scottie Scheffler's career just began so late that it almost feels like he could catch all of his records, but he's going to have to do it for so long. And what I mean by that is when Tiger started popping off in the early 2000s, maybe even 2000 or late 90s, whatever, he was so young that you're like, oh my God, this phenom has this massive future in front of him. And that's when like a Colin Morikawa got compared to him at one point. Jordan Spieth got compared to him at one point. These guys that were winning majors at such young ages that you're like, oh, they're going to get to 15 or they're going to get to 18 and catch Jack. And obviously it very quickly dies off because the major championships now are just so loaded with so many good players that it's tough to win these, let alone 18 in a career, let alone one in a career for some of these guys. And I think that's what the Scottie Scheffler phenomenon, if you will, is. What is it? 3 years ago at this time at the Open Championship, either 3 or 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I don't think he had a single win 4 years ago. And now he's pretty much cemented as like a top 15, maybe 10 player of all time. Like 4 years later, is there any other sport where you can do that? Like maybe Mahomes did that when he went on his crazy Super Bowl run, but was he even that highly regarded? Like maybe, I don't know. There so much past winning in golf can be like ridden for the rest of your career. And Scottie, whether or not he ever wins another major going forward, which obviously he's going to, his career up until this point in this short of a period of time has just been head and shoulders above anything that'd be like, it would have to be like Mahomes winning 4 straight Super Bowls, like basically his second year through his 5th year.
Well, no, it's not even really that. It's more like, who's a quarterback in like that? It'd be like a quarterback in almost like year 4 or 5 that all of a sudden, it'd be like if Jared Goff all of a sudden won 3 or 4 straight Super Bowls.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's always had the hype, though. I'm talking about a guy that came out, didn't have much hype, coming out of college into the PGA Tour. Bo Nix, maybe, but he's got some hype. But yeah, it's like a quarterback literally getting to year 4 or 5 of their NFL careers, doing nothing, maybe signing that deal because they're just good enough to sign a second deal. And then all of a sudden they just win Super Bowl after Super Bowl, win MVPs, lead the league in passing yards, lead the league in touchdowns out of nowhere.
And that's Stafford?
What I think. I mean, Matthew Stafford always had the numbers. He won one Super Bowl, but there's
just no good comparison. Like
no, because like Brady, when you talk about GOATs and obviously Tom Brady, he won a Super Bowl his first year playing full time or taking over for Drew Bledsoe, and then just continued to be in the conversation for another 20 fucking years. Capped it off with going to another team, winning another Super Bowl. So the like pocket of his run, starting with the Waste Management when we were there and he won it, and we're like, who's Scottie Scheffler? And now he's the guy. I mean, every tournament he's the favorite, and no matter where it is, he shows up and not only wins but dominates. And there's some interesting tweet that you sent me, kind of talking about how it was more of a joking tweet, not like from an official Twitter account, essentially, or somebody that actually talks about golf, and talked about how Tiger would just dominate fields and everybody would be playing for second place the whole time. And Scottie doesn't give off the aura of that, but a lot of the times when he's locked in, that's how it feels.
Yeah. He doesn't even need that mentality to like bury a field. in order to actually just bury the field. He just does it anyways. He could look you in the face and shake your hand and be like, I hope you beat me today. And fucking mean it and still go out and beat you by 5 shots. Like, the dude is just relentless. He's, what did we call him a couple weeks ago? The anaconda. He just gets you in his, like, and you could see it Friday afternoon. Like, the fucking leaderboard just start to squeeze and squeeze. I really did think that Brian Harman, dude, when Harman gets on, like, one of the weirdest players on tour, because he's like not really contended in much this year. But Open Championships, oddly enough, similar to my game. I feel like my game is fairly comparable to Harman's. He just hits it like way fucking better than me. But he's not long, but he keeps it out in front of him. He has a phenomenal short game. He makes a bunch of 8, 10, 12-foot putts. Like, I honestly thought that Brian Harman was going to make a huge run and, like, similar to 2 years ago, just kind of walk away after the weekend and run and hide. But I mean, Scottie Scheffler near the top of that leaderboard, and then yesterday just goes out and fires a ridiculously good round. I mean, even today he hasn't had his best stuff, and he's still 4 under, 3 under, or no? Did he start the day at 15? I can't remember. Anywho, he's definitely not had his best stuff, but he hasn't needed to. Obviously, he's been plenty good to get it done. And Harris English played like one of the best rounds he's played probably in years to get up into second place. But I also just got to mention, well, do we want to keep talking Scottie or do we want to go elsewhere?
Let's continue to glaze Scottie for a little bit, and then we'll talk about the rest of the field. Because I think the other part that's funny about this is he went pretty mega viral in his press conference this week talking about how it all doesn't really matter. None of this really matters. And while the more and more I see interviews of him, and the more he's in the national spotlight and the worldwide spotlight, if you will, and the best player in the world and winning all these tournaments and winning majors and gold medals and all this stuff, like, I'm starting to believe this isn't like a total front. Like, this is just who he is, and he just happens to be really fucking good. But I sent you the tweet this morning. But this was an original thought from me, for the record. I just saw the tweet that made me feel like other people feel this way. Is that has to be even more degrading to everybody else in the field, that he comes out and says, basically, I don't give a fuck. And my family's more important, and all of this other stuff is more important, which is how he truly feels. But then comes out and just wins this in a laugher. And that just has to be there's probably 20 or 30 tour guys out here that are, I'm not calling anybody out specifically. I don't know these guys, but there's probably 20 or 30 guys that played in this tournament that would want nothing more than they could be like, oh, I've had a great life and this and that. I want nothing more than to win this fucking event. And he's like, I'm going to celebrate a win for 2 minutes, and I just want to hang out with my family and be at home. And then he just boat races you. Like, it's just got to be so demeaning.
Do you know who I think it probably hurts more than just about everyone to hear that is Rory McIlroy, because he's given everything to his career. His family's been on the back burner, basically like divorced his wife or separated for whatever, it kind of felt like it was getting in the way of his career type shit. Like, he has just been solely focused on winning majors for a decade now after he hasn't won one. And he hasn't been able to win. And now Scottie rolls around. I mean, he won the Masters this year, but Rory has just dedicated his entire life. Like, this is his entire meaning. And he's obviously won, but Scottie just comes out and wins in bunches. And like you said, just feels like he doesn't care. He's going to appreciate it for, 10 minutes. Oh, and another thing that I was texted from our boy down in Arizona. He remembered that I said that if Scottie doesn't win the Grand Slam, it's going to be from not winning the Open Championship. So already proven wrong, already a shitty take. But honestly, it lasted a good, when did I have that take? Like 3 months ago. So, I mean, I've had takes fucking expire quicker than that. I've had takes expire quicker than fucking the milk in my fridge. So,
well, to be fair, this is literally the first day that it could have expired. So it expired as quickly as it possibly could have.
That's true. Yeah, you're not wrong. one thing I do have to say, that maybe what's kind of ruined the Open Championship for me, not ruined it, but these dudes just still play it like American golf for the most part. Like, and that just bugs me that these courses are not long enough, especially with how firm they are, for these dudes to really like struggle on these golf courses. It's just not, oh, Scottie Scheffler's approach on 18, pin high, 20 feet left of the hole. Shocker. Dude, the guy hits his number more than any. I swear to God, you could put that guy on a TrackMan, tell him to hit a number, and he could do it better than anybody in the world. And that is, I will die on that hill that Scottie, first of all, I underestimated his driving ability. Like, when you watch him on the tee, maybe because he's dancing around like he's fucking Michael Jackson, but none of it strikes you as that impressive. And then you look and he's first in strokes gained off the tee on the entire tour. And he's actually sneaky longer than it seems like. He's averaging like 305 off the tee, which is like top 20, top 25 on tour. But then accuracy wise, he's lethal. And then this week in the field, he's number one in iron play and number one in putting. Like,
Yeah,
he's just number one at fucking everything. Like, there's not a single thing. And you look at this like bag of milk, Nikola Jokic looking just average looking ass. And then you look at Bryson DeChambeau, which by the way, we'll get into him, but there's just so many other guys that are so much more physically impressive. Oh, Scottie's got to shave his head. That is, he's going to be doing the Jordan Spieth 2 fingers, pulling that hair over. That's a tough one. But there's just so many other guys so much more physically impressive than him. And he just goes out and owns fucking everybody. Like, it's just not even close. If he really needed to, he probably could have gotten it to like 20 today. And he just didn't. Like, he just played conservative. He's like, I'm going to win by, 3-4 shots. Ooh, dude, his son is big. That's a big boy.
Yeah, somebody said, I'm excited to see how much Bennett Scheffler has grown in 6 weeks since the last trophy ceremony, which 6 weeks for a 3-month-old is that's a lot of growth there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Scottie, I mean, it's funny because I am almost, when me and my son are watching, because he's just a sponge right now and watching golf, and he's got this great follow through that he's all of a sudden started hitting. And I'm like,
dude, that's got to be from him just watching golf.
Yeah, when Scottie's hitting, I'm like, dude, don't watch this. Like this, I don't need you to start throwing your feet all around and trying to think that this is the way to go. And I think that's honestly what adds to even more of the story for Scottie and makes it even more incredible. And you really break all of the different aspects of how his career's taken off down into pieces, is that if you saw him on the driving range next to, let's say, Ludwig Aubert and Rory McIlroy, you'd be like, these two guys are night and day better than this guy in the middle here. And he's the one that's just bow racing everybody. And yeah. I saw there was an NFL guy that had a tweet because, this is the time that all these other takesmen from other sports, like when it's a major, I feel like they need to get their takes off about golf. And it's like, dude, you don't carry the other 51 weeks of the year, 48 weeks of the year. There's not a major, get the fuck out of here. But he was like, Scottie Scheffler is number one in the field in putting this week. That's like if Tom Brady added a 4.3 40 year 8 of his career. And, it's like the same thing. It's the same concept because he was always, he can hit it better than everybody and is just more consistent, but he does have a bugaboo. And it's almost like now he's started to putt well. He's gone to the claw. He went to the mallet spider with the claw. And now it seems like he's just got the final infinity stone. And it's every tournament he enters, you're like, who the fuck? It's Scottie versus the field.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I'm just thinking of like the Tiger versus Scottie thing, because it's still clear that Tiger is better as of right now, is still better than Scottie's, which some people are starting like, we haven't approached that area yet where people are being 100% truthful about it and like being serious when they say that Scottie's better than Tiger. But people are starting to now consider it. It is now a thought. It's a very thought-provoking conversation because he has put himself into that spot. But what I will say that's so different about Tiger is Tiger had such a clutch gene, and Scottie just hasn't even had a chance to show that yet because he feels like he wins running away so often. Like Tiger was the king of making mistakes, hitting errant tee shots, because that was really Tiger's probably worst aspect of his game was his driving and his driving accuracy. But he was one of the best, if not the best iron player ever, and one of the most clutch and really good putters ever. But it always felt like Tiger had these opportunities to make a big putt, and it felt like he always did. And Scottie just really never gets that chance because he just fucking strangles everybody out of the field before he can even get the chance to knock in a clutch 15-footer. It is so like the lack of celebration. It's almost sickening. I'm watching him. It just looks like he just fired 68 on his home course on a Sunday afternoon. Like there's no jumping around. There's no, I mean, it's just expected at this point.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder if, of his, I believe maybe this is his 17th win on tour. Is that right?
Okay,
Sound right?
now
17th or 18th?
Now he's really celebrating. He threw his arms in the air, threw his hat in the air.
He's like, I got shit on for my not giving a fuck earlier this week. I gotta put on a little bit of a show here. But what I was gonna say is it makes me wonder if he would have won differently 10 times than he has, because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I think we watch every single event, obviously, especially all the majors and every round. I got to imagine in Scottie's 17 wins on tour, I know for sure he's 11 for 11 in closing 54-hole leads. And so he's won 6 other events, but he doesn't have this like, oh, I came back from 6 shots down and won an event. Like, I think that's where part of the boring gets into it, is he's just so good when he's on compared to the rest of the field that it doesn't make it fun to watch. But I think that's as unfair as that is to say, I think that's where a little bit of the flair comes in because he's not coming back. And I mean, fucking dude, Bennett Scheffler has this guy's got like a 60% win percentage as his dad playing events since he became a dad. I mean,
so maybe did he unlock the dad strength? Is that what has put him over the top? Like,
I don't know, dude, because all I know is his son is probably been at trophy ceremonies more than he's been at fucking daycare in his life.
Yeah.
More than he's probably done just about any other thing in his short 4 or 5 whatever month life, however old this kid is. He's literally always just on the 18th green of a golf tournament with a trophy that's bigger than he is.
100%. And what do you want to bet? What are the odds on Scottie's wife having another kid in about 9.5, 10 months from now?
Probably pretty good.
Maybe
once we get into the off season.
He takes his 05 Tahoe back to his dive bar in Dallas with the claret jug, has 1 or 2 beers, gets all tuned up off those 1 or 2 Coors Lights, and then goes home and makes another fucking prodigy golf son. Like,
I do think what's funny is I do think that although he says he doesn't, what is it all about? I think after the little Masters scare where there was a potential of him leaving the Masters, I think they might try to dial that in a little bit more and plan for a late fall baby where there's no majors and no.
Well, but then she'd be pregnant already, because I feel like I feel like Scottie Scheffler is going to be like Phillip Rivers. I think she's going to have like 8 of them.
You think so?
He definitely strikes me as the kind of guy that's going to want to have as many kids as possible. Like, that just is kind of what it seems like to me. I could be completely off on that, but he like, talk about a guy that kids, the intent is not the intent. Obviously you have kids for other reasons, but a guy that needs purpose, kids clearly give you purpose. And so I feel like he's just going to keep popping those puppies out as, okay. So here's a good question. How many majors versus how many kids? How many kids do you think he's going to have? How many majors do you think he's going to have when it's all said and done?
All said and done, I feel like he feels like a 3-kid guy. And majors, he's going to get to double digits. He's going to have 10 majors.
Okay. I think I'm going to go 6 kids and 12 majors. And we should actually go back because what was it this year when he won? Wait, who? No, I'm sorry. what was it when we were talking about how many majors Scottie's going to win? It was after his last major championship.
So this is his first major this year, isn't it? Because he hasn't won the US. He's never won the U.S. Open. Did he win the PGA this year? Because he didn't win the Masters.
God, dude, this is so funny. We're a golf podcast, and I don't know why I just completely space. The PGA is just so fucking forgettable. It's hilarious. God, where even was the PGA?
Valhalla.
No, that was last year.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Valhalla is the one he got arrested at.
Oh, yes.
God damn. How are we doing this right now? Was it? Oh, it was. Nope, that was the U.S. Open. Holy shit, we are just fumble fucking this whole thing. This is great. I think he's won another major this year, but it
Quail Hollow, and he won it by 5 shots over Harris English. Harris English just can't catch a break with this fucking guy in the fucking events that he's in.
Harris English is in line to finish runner-up in 2 majors this year and lose by 9 shots combined.
Oh my God. Well, and
everybody's just playing for second. Honestly, I don't recall a time this early into a round on a Sunday where I just had 100% written off the fact that someone was just winning, running away. Okay, Brendan, thank God.
Shout out, Brendan.
If you drop Scottie into current form in Tiger's dominant years, would he be second best player behind Tiger ahead of VJ and Phil? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I think he's closer than Phil. Phil was obviously very, very good, but I think he's in between Phil and Tiger.
Yeah, but is Scottie right now closer to Phil or closer to Tiger in that specific vacuum? I agree. I tend to
because Phil's career was so long, and I mean, he won a fucking major when he was like 50, just a few years ago at Kiowa. I mean, he's kind of one more spread out, and obviously, if you extrapolate out, take this 4 years of Scottie and multiply it times a 20-year career, he's going to be the magnum opus of all golfers ever. Obviously, I don't think that you can keep up this kind of pace for 20 years, but even if he does it for 10 years, that's what? So he's won 4 majors in 4 years, 10 majors in 10 years. Is that out of the question? I don't think it is. And, you know, everybody has this recency bias. Like, remember, one of the funniest things I was thinking back on like this major season is when Rory won the Masters and everyone's like, can he just win all 4 this year? Like, who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat Rory? It's like, everyone else maybe this year. Like, and Rory actually played well this week, but it definitely, you could see the talk about guys that need a purpose. Rory, now that he's won the Masters, is fucking ran out of a purpose. Like, I could be wrong, but he's now, you know, he's got to win more majors. Obviously, that's kind of for his golf career. That's really the only thing spurring him on, and maybe winning, you know, more Ryder Cups. I know everybody.
Well, especially winning this major. If this couldn't get him up for it and he couldn't get it done at his own spot in Ireland in the Open Championship, which is like his event, I think, you know, he has kind of lost some of his purpose. Let's get into some other guys, because looking at that PGA leaderboard, it reminded me how good Bryson's been this year. You want to just talk a little bit about Bryson? He was 3rd in the PGA, shot 7 under today, and after a 78 in the opening round, the dude finishes in the top 5. Like, that's a pretty, or top 8, I should say, I guess, technically.
Yeah. So him and Wyndham Clark both shot 16 under the last 3 days. Wyndham opened with 76, Bryson opened with 78. But both of those dudes, I mean, you know, Wyndham, different story, but Bryson definitely felt like he kind of, I wouldn't say he figured out links golf, but I think he realized that Bryson is the epitome of the modern American golfer. Just absolutely hit it as hard as you can and go find it and hit it again. I think he's kind of figured out he needs to dial that back a hair. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Bryson win an Open Championship down the road. But yeah, the last 3 days, I mean, really the most teeth that the weather gave us were on for Thursday and Friday. We saw a little bit of rain, we saw a little bit of wind, and even then guys were still firing 3-4 under par. So
And they were also playing in 6+ hours.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
hilarious.
Yeah. What group was that played in 6 hours?
I think it was Rory's group, I want to say, and somebody got put on the clock, but I know that they said that somebody was played 11 holes in 4 hours. There was a group on Thursday or Friday that played 11 holes in 4 hours.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane. But no, Bryson had a very good week. Let me say this, is maybe does Wyndham Clark just need to become Irish and then everyone will somehow like him more? Because Shane Lowry is basically the Irish version of Wyndham Clark at this point. He doesn't, I was going to say maybe he doesn't have as much anger, but Shane Lowry is one of the whiniest, most angry golfers. And I honestly like Shane Lowry just because he's a big, thick Irishman. I mean, we've talked about this a million times, but I just think it's endearing, just his general body shape, because I can relate. But other than that, like, he has literally said, so he won here in 2019. There was a hot mic of him saying, I fucking hate this place. Fuck this place. Yeah. And then
so good.
Yeah, he said that at every single, I think he said that at the US Open this year at Oakmont. He's like, fuck this place. I fucking can't stand it here. I mean, he's one step away from MFing Augusta National and being like, I don't get the hype around this. Everyone loves this place. This place sucks. Which Tyrrell Hatton has actually said he doesn't love Augusta, which is very on brand for Tyrrell. But Shane Lowry's antics, dude, they're like, talk about a guy that thinks he should win like every week, and he just thinks the golf course is bad, like out to get just him. Like, it blows my mind. If that's really what it feels like. He's got like that middle child energy where he feels like he deserves everything and is given nothing, like, by the golf course. When in all reality, he's just hasn't been that good off the tee. I mean, he's always been a great iron player, but and then he just hasn't been that good on the greens either. So it's like, well, fucking play better, dude. How about that? And then it's not the golf course's fault, because clearly Scottie Scheffler has had no problems pretty much anywhere that he's played in his career. So,
well, let's circle back to this conversation about saying fuck this place to the golf course, because we're playing in our my member guests coming up this week. You're coming out to Colorado. We're playing practice round Wednesday.
Fuck this golf course a handful of times.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say we'll probably pot it up this week before the golf tournament, but afterwards. So next week,
maybe have a little guest on Wednesday
when we recap it. Potential guest on Wednesday, but it would be hilarious to see. I'm going to set the over under at 5.5 for how many times you say "fuck this place" to Inverness in the 4-day space. Well, you can practice round doesn't count.
Yes.
Well, actually, yeah, we'll go practice round because that's 4 rounds, just like a PGA Tour event. I'm going to give it 5.5. Oh, and I'm going to take the over on you saying that.
If you had to pick a hole in your mind right now, would be the first hole where I say fuck this golf course. Which one would it be? Because I have one in my mind.
2.
No, I would say 3. 2 is relatively, like, it's kind of dumb, but I get it. 3 just sucks. Like, it's just a fucking hard hole. I don't like it at all.
It's a tough par 3. Especially if we're going to be playing it like 205 or 210. You're going to have to fucking hit hybrid.
Oh, dude, I've gotten longer. You need to fucking back off. I hit 6. I'll hit 6 iron probably in the middle of the green there, you fucker.
Probably maybe hit 3 wood if there's a little wind in the face.
Dude, hey, it's better than blowing it in the fucking water. That's for sure. But we have agreed that we are going to bow to each other every time we make a birdie. So every time we make birdie, we're going to be doing this. So hopefully
except for in the scramble, that'd be a little excessive.
No, that'd be even better than we bow to each other simultaneously. Like, it's a team thing. I like that. But yes, I am going to say fuck this course quite a few times over the span of the member guests. Who else should we get to? Matt Fitzpatrick, good week.
Yeah, let me just read the leaderboard because it's a pretty chalk. Like, after Scottie Scheffler, a lot of big names, a lot of like Chris got. So Scottie Scheffler, Harris English, Chris Gotterup, solo 3. And then tied at 4th, you have Wyndham, Matt Fitzpatrick, Hao Tong Lee. Great week for him, getting to play with Scottie Scheffler in the final round. Really good showing. He even knew he was playing for second place when he teed it up today. He said so in his interview yesterday, which was all-time content. He just knows, and he knows where he's at. So I love that from him.
Well, that was a little – you don't think he was gaming it at all? Like a little reverse psychology, like, oh, I don't even have a chance, you know?
He was
like,
just pumped that he was on TV, dude, and getting an interview. Like,
dude, Hao Tong is legit. I've watched him on the DP World Tour for years, and I think his first win was 9 years ago on the DP World Tour, and he kind of felt like one of those dudes that was going to become a superstar. I mean, he's a big ass guy. He hits it a long way. I thought he had all the game to come out and maybe compete over on the PGA Tour. Obviously, it hasn't come to that, but I think he's won 4 or 5 times on the DP World Tour, so he's a legit player. It's not a come out of nowhere, having never won type of shit, and all of a sudden you win a big event. But yes, definitely a little different playing with Scottie Scheffler than playing in the Dubai Desert Classic over there. Like that, I think it means a little bit more. Fitzpatrick, great week.
Yeah, well, let me finish this because tied at 7, you've got McIntyre, Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, all at T7, and then finishing out the top 10, all the guys tied for top 10: Russell Henley, Brian Harman, Corey Connors, and Bryson. So really, other than Scotty and the outlier of him being 17 under, it's a pretty chalk, and you've got 14 guys within 3 shots of Harris English. So, I mean, overall, like, you take Scotty out of this event, he gets arrested on Friday morning. His wife has another kid, and he misses the weekend. This would have been, I think we would be looking at this in a very different light. And it's not out of we're still sheerly impressed with Scotty, but the fact that the rest of the guys, and it was like you had your one random dude in Hao Tong Lee, and then a bunch of guys that have won majors, guys that have won Open championships, guys that have won U.S. Opens up there. Bobby Mack was a crowd favorite. You got Bryson, Corey Connors. I think Corey Connors won the DraftKings King of the Course. I think he had the most birdies on the weekend of anybody, ironically.
I did not participate in that. I forgot to do it.
I did too. But yeah, let's get back. You were talking Matt Fitzpatrick. He had a great week. And the beginning of this year, I was like, is he ever going to win again? Is he ever going to compete on the PGA Tour again? Because after he won the U.S. Open, you're like, oh my God, he's so young. Then he kind of competed at another Open Championship. And obviously he's English, grew up in America or went to college in America. But he now is like kind of resurrected his careers a little too far to take that. But there was a point a year and a half ago, or beginning of this year, where I was kind of worried Matt Fitzpatrick would never play competitive golf again. And he was kind of a crowd favorite, especially after he won the U.S. Open at Brookline. And then he's, a guy that he's famous for tracking every single one of his golf shots and being very meticulous about the game, and kind of funneling over into that Bryson realm of being that way and being very numbers oriented and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, this guy's cooked. And now he seems like he competed in the U.S. Open this year too for a little while. I think he was up there, and now he's back at the Open Championship. And I thought he would be the guy to potentially catch Scotty if that was even possible.
Yeah, there was a couple guys that I thought had a chance. It was either Fitzpatrick or Brian Harman. I thought had a good chance. He just had a bad day yesterday. But yeah, Fitzpatrick kind of felt almost like a Danny Willett type of player where they win one major and then you really never hear from him again. But I think he's got more game than that. He is just a classic like grinder. From what I've heard, I guess he's a member down at Metidaconk down in South Jersey because he married a girl who is from Manasquan, which is like near the Jersey Shore. So Metidaconk, I guess, is like 20-30 minutes from there. And they have like one of the best practice ranges that you've ever seen. It's fucking massive. It's insane. But I guess Fitzpatrick, there's like 2 sides to the range. And there's one that's a little bit more like private there's an indoor outdoor hitting like barn over there. And I guess from what I've heard, you'll just see him over there for like 6-7 hours on end, like hitting balls just all fucking day, practicing. They have a crazy short game area. He'll be on the chipping green for 3-4 hours at a time, just the guy is the ultimate grinder. And like for him to do what he's done with his golf swing, where he used to be like one of the shorter guys out there and is talk about like gaining speed. And he's done like a lot of stuff to gain the speed. And I mean, props to him. I wouldn't mind seeing him win again. He is a little boring. And obviously when you're sponsored by Skechers, it's not like you're the coolest dude on tour. It's almost like reverse aura. Like he almost has aura because he wears Skechers and still
like Zach from Pardon My Take has off the charts aura because of how low his actual level of aura is.
Exactly. Like if you're not gonna, if there's no sense in having a little aura, you either have all of it or you have like none of it to the point where you have a lot of it because you just don't give a fuck. Like, but the whole braces, the whole pasty white Matt Fitzpatrick thing, kind of, he's not my favorite player in the world, but I mean, his game is legit and he's a great putter as well. So I think we could see him win a little bit more down the line. And then who else? Chris Gotterup, dude.
I was just going to say, let's go there. What a like a 10-day span for that dude. You win the Scottish Open and then you go to the Open. You get into the Open Championship by winning the Scottish Open and you go there and you solo 3 it. Like incredible couple weeks for that dude. And he feels so much older than he is. And I think it's just because in my mind, we watched literally, I remember seeing his name at the Ascendant up in TPC, Colorado on the Corn Ferry Tour. And a lot of those guys, yes, there are some players that you then turn into professionals and turn onto the PGA Tour and start winning. But most of those guys are like, they're just going to be lifers here. This is their Super Bowl every single week on the Corn Ferry Tour. And 4-year guy, you know, and then you look at his college career and he went to Rutgers and obviously finished at Oklahoma. But kind of like he was like one of the guys just below Ludwig Aubert when he was coming on at Texas and just becoming this incredible player that was just night and day above everyone else at the collegiate level at that time. But Chris Gotterup was right there, and now he's kind of showing that. And we talked about it, but I mean, the chance of him playing in the Ryder Cup is growing by the minute, and you just never know what Keegan Bradley's going to do, man. The closer it gets to it, like I don't think he wants to pick himself. I don't think he's going to qualify and be in the top 6. You know, Bryson kind of solidified himself as one of the top 6 this week with another great major performance. But
I think overall, Harris English solidified himself this week as well. Probably Russell Henley, I would have to bet. But no, Gotterup, going back to like what you said, he feels older. I think there's just so many guys like golf hit. Oh, his son just took a digger off the side of the green. Is he crying? Oh, just hands and knees. Dude, this stuff is just so funny because it's like he's going to watch this as an 18-year-old and be like, what was I even doing? Like, why were they putting me on television when I'm in a green jumper? I'm like 3-4 months old. Oh, but he's so freaking cute. He's already got more hair than his dad, similar to your son. Yeah, he just took a little dirt nap off the side of the green there.
Yeah, where'd you take your first steps? Royal Portrush, 18th green after my dad won his 4th major and was named the champion golfer of the year.
I just saw the anti-Faldo Twitter account. He goes, I've seen more of Bennett Scheffler than I've seen a lot of close relatives this last year or the last 4 months. Like I was like, that's a pretty fucking good tweet, honestly. But no, Gotterup, going back to the maturity thing, like all these younger dudes just feel older because it's just sports evolving. Like you very rarely have an immature guy that's making it out on the PGA Tour. Like look at Aldrich Potgieter. He's 20 years old. And like Tom Kim, when he came out at 20, he felt like he was like 30. You know, all these young dudes just have this mentality, and that is part of what makes them so good at golf. You rarely have a psychotic hothead guy that's like this world beater in golf. It just doesn't really happen. Like, so I think a lot of these younger dudes are just coming out more mature, and it's just the evolution of the entire game. Like these guys know that they can't afford to make mental errors if they're going to come out and compete and, you know, let their judgment get clouded by anger and shit like that. So Gotterup does definitely feel like more of a veteran, and maybe because he's like a little podgy as well, which I like. He's not like too thick of a boy, but he does have some tits a little bit. Like they're a little bouncy. I think that's why he always wears black. From one thick man to another, black is obviously the least revealing color. So,
well, there was a tweet just talking about Gotterup, and it's like Gotterup's definitely an up and comer. I hope no fucking life strength coach gets their hands on him and turns him into this svelte guy. Like, you got to keep this body type. This is what does it for you on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's a lot of different ways to get it done, but yeah, Gotterup. I think he more than doubled his career earnings just in the last 2 weeks. Which, you know, he hadn't made that much money so far, but he is kind of burst onto the national scene. Now I feel like a lot of people know who he is. And if he ends up with a spot on the Ryder Cup, that would obviously make it even that much more impressive. But he's got to keep the momentum going. Like what you were texting me, you feel like he's kind of sealed up a spot. But then you look at a guy like Ben Griffin, who's already won twice this year. Like, there's no chance he doesn't have a spot, you know, on this Ryder Cup team. But you have to sustain that over, you know, a 3-4 month period to really show that you're capable of getting it done on that big of a stage, instead of, you know, you win one here, you top 3 the next event. But yeah. So Raul,
we got this comment from Raul, and I wanted to go here next with the biggest disappointments of this week. And when I was looking through all the miscuts and the guys that we rarely saw on TV, I think Colin was the guy that probably stood out the most to me, because at this point, like, you look at the guys right on the cut line. Joaquin Niemann, we're done with him and thinking he's going to ever compete in majors. Cool. You got guys like Zach Johnson, Ryan Fox. I mean, he's had a good couple of weeks. You thought
Cameron
maybe
Young.
Cameron Young is another guy, just like, to me, he's just like Joaquin Niemann. Like, I'm done talking about him and wasting my time with him. Maybe Taylor Pendrith, but as you're scrolling down the list of the missed cuts,
Brooks Koepka again, just floundering at majors.
But then, I mean, that's the guy that stands out the most is Colin Morikawa. And it's
Tom Hoagie.
It's his lack of play, I think, just overall, in not play on the golf course when he's actually on it, but it's just the amount of times he's playing, and he's not playing a ton of tournaments. And I don't know how guys can get into form by practicing. Like you said, and we've talked about a million times on the pod, you know, the Matt Fitzpatrick hitting balls for 7 hours a day. All these guys do that, but it's actually going out and playing tournaments and having that feeling of getting intense golf under your belt that actually makes you better at playing golf. Anybody can hit balls. Anybody can be good at hitting balls. But when you actually got to be good at playing golf, you have to play golf to do that.
Okay. Yes, John Madden, you are 100% correct. But it is kind of like, if you don't use it, you lose it type shit. And it feels like Morikawa kind of was pretty quick to give him to self-anoint him as like a major hunter. And like, you know, he's basically like Brooks Koepka with 3 less majors. He won 2 majors very early, and then he's like, oh yeah, this shit's easy. And now he's just greatly struggled to get back to any sort of form in the majors, and even just in regular PGA Tour events. Like, I don't know if he would have fucking won the Barracuda this week. He's just not playing very good golf, and that's, guys go through that. But it maybe my hope for Morikawa is it humbles him a little bit, and maybe he gets back in the lab and actually starts grinding on his game and playing in more events and doing the grueling schedule. Like, golf is a what have you done for me lately type of fucking game, you know? And Morikawa is still riding those 2 major wins that happened, 4 or 5 years ago. So he's got to figure something out, because he is quickly, I don't think he belongs on the Ryder Cup personally. And obviously world ranking points have gotten skewed to the point where it looks like he's probably going to end up there, but I don't think he deserves a spot like that. Personally speaking, just from current form and attitude for the game and shit, like I want a bulldog. I would take Chris Gotterup over Colin Morikawa on the Ryder Cup team right now. And I know that's a very recency bias type of take, but I just don't think, and maybe that'd humble him even more, you know, don't make the fucking Ryder Cup team. Give him a little bit more juice for the next year to come out and compete and try to win again.
Yeah, looking through the rest of the missed cuts, I mean, there's not a lot of guys where you're like, oh, I kind of expected them to compete this week. Cam Smith is probably like, I don't know if he's out of playing in majors now because he's finally, he won the Open Championship and then got his couple. Well, he's going to be in the Open Championship every year, but in terms of the Masters and being in the U.S. Open, Cam Smith just seems like a guy that's completely a non-factor in all of these majors. Patrick Reed has been decent this year in majors, was a non-factor.
Patrick Cantlay, another miscut at a major.
Yeah, Cantlay to me is like the guy that can win the tournaments like the BMW, but is never a real factor in the majors. He's not going to go win the Puerto Rico Open or the Barracuda in Tahoe, but he can win the bigger events or compete in the bigger events, but he can't compete in majors. I think he's like very just mid in that realm, I should say.
I would agree. Jacob Skov Olesen was tied for the lead after day one and finished 2 spots out of DFL. Probably still a great career accomplishment for him, considering I've never heard of the guy before. To make the cut and to even see your name at the top of that leaderboard after, the first day is a huge accomplishment. But then Victor Hovland,
that guy's a Viking. That's a Viking name.
That is Skov. Jacob Skov.
Skov Olesen.
Yeah, that's sick. Who was I just on? Tony.
You're talking about Victor Hovland having a shitty weekend, shitting himself. Yes. Unfortunately, our guy Tyrrell Hatton birdies 1 today. It's like, oh, here he comes, and then plays like complete garbage the rest of the day. Bogeys 2, missed a pretty easy par putt on 2, and then just kind of dawdled his way in with a bunch of pars, made a bogey on 16, and didn't even finish in the top 10. Let's talk about our bets real quick before we get off the show. Mitchell is the only one to hit any bets for us this week, so shout out to you. Bobby Mack, at least he had some fucking heart of our 6 guys. I did have Russell Henley in the one and done, who played well on the weekend, shot his lowest round in a major yesterday, and then ended up finishing the top 10. So I had Henley and Hatton, so decent payday for this week. But I feel like I didn't look at a lot of what the other people picked in our one and done, but with how chalky it was, at least everybody's got to have somebody in the top 10, I would think, with all the names.
Yeah, it was a lot of Hatton with either Fitzpatrick or Fleetwood was up there. He finished at T16. Aubert was up there quite a bit. There's a couple other guys. John Rahm, I think, was up there. But yes, I had Hatton and Robbie McIntyre. So decent payout. Tyrrell Hatton was the only guy inside of the top 30 that shot over par today. So that's just a big old fucking bummer. Especially after he stuffs one on 1, makes birdie. He drives it in the fairway bunker on 2, misses a 5-footer for par on 2. I felt like that fucking derailed his round. And then on like 4, misses another 5-footer for par, makes another bogey. Then he's over par, can't get it back going. And even on the par 5 on the back 9, like the easiest hole on the golf course, he drives it in the shit, has to take a drop off the tee, which just is fucking demeaning. But yeah, Hatton is just, I haven't lost faith on him yet, but I'm starting to think it's one of those, like, it's similar to the stock market where it feels like he's still like going up and trying to break through that ceiling. And if he doesn't break through that ceiling, he's just going to fucking take a hard nosedive in the other direction and stop giving a shit. Because he's probably already made $50-60 million playing golf. Like, he doesn't really give a fuck. I don't think it's about that, but he's just got to sort it out come Sunday because he's had a lot of chances and you got to be clutch on Sundays. And like I said, only guy in the top 30 over par today. So that was very frustrating. But Bobby Mack on the other side of that coin finished very, very well. I think he had 3 birdies in his last 6 holes to catapult himself inside the top 10. So he had a great week. There was quite a few guys that just felt like they played very, very solid golf. But when you're playing against maybe the best player of all time or the top 5 best player of all time, it feels like you got to bring your best shit. And even that might not get it done. So it is just tough, man. Like, does this, in your heart of hearts, just be dead honest, does Scottie Scheffler running away like this and being on this type of generational run, does it move you? Like, do you want to tune in to watch him win like this, or no?
No, I never want to tune in to watch somebody win like this. Now, if Scottie Scheffler is winning these tournaments on the last hole, or it was like a two-headed race or a two-man race for going into 18, he birdies it to win, I think that will get a little bit more exciting. But I honestly think that's just the point I'm in right now, the way I answered that. I think in 2 to 3 years, if he keeps doing this, there's going to be a point where we're all witnessing such a high level of greatness that it could be even more exciting, if that makes sense. Because we've talked about multiple guys on this pod that throughout the years have been, is this the next Tiger, has probably been asked 15 times in the game of golf in the last 10 years about Rory, about Colin, about Spieth, about, pick a name. And there's probably 5 or 6 guys that are out there that have won enough majors and won enough PGA Tour events that people can actually ask that question. And it's never even been a real answer. And that answer, even if it was somebody having a hot take, has fizzled out within 2 to 3 years. So if he does this for another 2 to 3 years and wins, like, let's say by the start of 2020, what is it, 2028? If by the start of 2028, he's won 7 majors, like he wins 3 of the next 8 or even 2 of the next 8, I think there's a legitimate discussion to be had to how far can he take this and how good can he be for how long?
Well, so I don't know if you saw this either, but his 30th birthday will fall on the Sunday of the U.S. Open at Shinnecock next year. So he could close out the Grand Slam possibly on his 30th birthday at Shinnecock Hills on Long Island. That would be pretty fucking cool. But just the fact that he looks older, so he feels older, but he's only 29 and he's right in the prime. Like this, his 30 to 40 decade, he could easily win 8 to 10 majors in that decade. If not more, like this, it is truly hard to predict. And it, similar to Nikola Jokic, for those of you who didn't hear us talking about him earlier, when people question, like when the only thing holding you back is your want to keep going, that's when you're pretty fucking good. Like that is what it kind of comes down to for Scottie. Like, is he going to care 10 years from now? Because if he is and he still wants to keep doing this, he's probably going to be just as fucking good as he was, Like, there's really nothing holding him back but himself. Like, that's kind of an odd thing to say, but that's what it feels like, Oh,
that's 100% what it feels like. You got anything else? Or should we wrap this bad boy up? Our final major live reaction of 2025. We'll definitely be doing something for the Ryder Cup. Have to see
maybe
what
the Tour Championship as well.
Tour Championship. Yeah, we can go in the playoffs, do some playoff reactions because those are always fun. Especially when you have like Lucas Glover win back-to-back playoff events. It's super electric for a lot of the people that watch golf.
Did your TV go straight to the Tour de France?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, this shit's pretty electric, honestly.
Yeah, AC's there today at this exact race.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's cool.
His house is close to that, so he's watching it right now. Sent me some pictures. I'm like, dude, I couldn't give a fuck less about bike racing, but
I could not give a single fuck less about the Tour de France. I will just say that I was pretty bummed this morning. I had the Sunday Scaries on 10 because the tee time started so early that it's like the middle of the day and the final major round of the year is almost over. I'm like, what the fuck do we have? We're exactly 7 weeks from NFL regular season football starting. So I just need something, dude. Baseball like this. I'm not fucking stoked about the 3M Open or
start betting dingers with me. Start betting dinger home run parlays. They're electric.
I need it. Oh, I just want to say too that golf betting just punched me right in the nuts once again. Like you have a couple guys, and that's what really Scottie Scheffler's ruined more than anything. Like I want to be able to bet a dude that's plus 3,000 to win, not a guy who's plus 250. I should have cashed out Tyrrell Hatton when it was like $90. I bet 40. Should have cashed that out. In hindsight, you just cash out everything when if Scottie Scheffler's within 3 strokes of your guy, he's cooking him. Like it's like that meme where the guy is with the girl, but he's looking back at the other chick, and the other chick is Scottie 3 shots back of the guy you bet on, and then the guy you bet on is next to you. That's a great verbal meme.
Yeah, well, so I took a snapshot of this when they tweeted it out. So after round 1, they gave the leaderboard of the Open and their odds. Matt Fitzpatrick was leading with Harris English, Bezuidenhout, Haotong Li, and Jacob Skov Olofsson. Fitzpatrick was plus 1,100. Harris English plus 2,000. Bezuidenhout plus 3,300. Haotong Li 5,500. Olofsson 9,000. And then Scottie one shot back plus 210.
That is insane. I actually just saw another stat about Scottie, and then we'll finish up with the glazing. He is 111 under par in majors since the beginning of 2020. That is 46 shots better than anyone else in that span. So it's not even close. It's not even fucking a competition. Like, remember when we thought John Rahm was the guy? And I think he still could win another major or two, but it just feels like with every passing year, these last few years, it's more and more clear that Scottie is the future of the game, the present, the future, the fucking, what is that?
He's starting to become a little bit of the past as well. Like he's won
past,
for
the
4
present,
straight
the future.
years.
Yeah,
and
he's unstoppable.
Like last year, Xander Schauffele winning 2 majors. You're like, oh, is Xander's career going to take off? And then, granted, he's had some injuries this year, but he's been terrible all year. I mean, he finally finished well this major, and you're like, oh, Xander's a little bit maybe back. He's going to be obviously part of the Ryder Cup team for sure, but you're wondering if he's ever going to be back in form that he's been in that he was in 2024, and can that continue in 26?
I think he will be. I still am pretty high on Xander. I think this isn't very hot take, but I think he wins one of the playoff events this postseason. He's kind of ramping up. It's funny too. I don't know if you've noticed this, but when I talk to like people who know golf and I mention like the PGA Tour playoffs, they're like, what are those? I'm like that is what's so funny about other sports trying to make playoffs a thing when it's just like the NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs. But other than that, like golf is known for the majors, so the playoffs don't mean shit. But I think he could ramp up and play well in the playoffs. Obviously, the Ryder Cup. I think Xander still wins a couple more majors in his career before it's all said and done, for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, shout out to Scottie Scheffler, Bennett, seeing him on TV, another trophy for that kid. Scottie Scheffler wins the 2025 Open Championship, Royal Portrush, going away 17 under. We will be back with a pod sometime this week. We've got Mitchell coming out to Colorado. Member guest this week. There'll be some content around that. We'll be able to, maybe preview it a little bit this week on the pod, and then talk about it, of course, next week and how we feel like we were going to do and how we did in actuality compared to that. Our first time playing in a member guest since we were 19 and 18, I want to say. It's been a long time that we've actually gotten to do this. So we're going to have a fun week ahead of us. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week, and we will talk to you on Wednesday. Big Drive Energy out.
Peace.
Peace.